Welcome back to Sip the Tally Films. I'm your host, Coach Evans, and today is Monday, so you know what time it is. It's time for the Ravens Roundtable. We got few topics to discuss. We're gonna officially venture off into another topic, another genre, so to speak, because our news is low and limited right around. Everybody's waiting on March the 7th. So March the 7th and this OC hire, which those two, the OC hire and that date gonna kind of go in hand, but you can't really wait till March the 7th. So something got to shake soon, but right now everything's low coming out of B more, at least from what I know. And there's a few rumors that are out there that we may discuss. But let's bring in the panel before we get started on it. Let's start off with the man of the hour, Chris. What up, G?
Yo, what up, Coach? Happy to be here, man.
Appreciate you.
Yes,
Next
sir.
up, Hendo.
What's going on?
Never disappoints.
Y'all killed my joy before we came on here.
Never disappoints.
Y'all just killed all. Y'all just took all of my joy from me.
We're gonna talk about what took your joy. What up, B? I was like,
What up? Chris he just made it. You guys jacket on and everything.
What's going on, Will?
So since he mentioned it, what killed your joy, Hendo?
The talk about Baker Mayfield coming to Baltimore. What?
Yeah, that was something out there, and B shared it with us earlier, and basically he was
look
saying,
how happy he looks.
Gotcha.
I am happy. I am happy. Y'all wish that on me for months.
We didn't wish it on you.
I mean, I'm not. Yes, you did specifically.
I did not.
I was going to say not y'all specifically, but definitely you had. Though.
I didn't wish Baker Mayfield on you.
Yes, you did. Constantly.
No.
Constantly. and now it's coming home to roost. And
then
hopefully that's something Photoshop B found. But
what about the secret Cliff Kingsbury rumor?
Well, that actually wasn't a secret.
Oh, was it?
They reached out to him. I saw it on mainstream. They reached out to him, but he ain't gonna make too many moves, right? Because he ain't gonna make a move unless he know what the quarterback situation is. Cliff ain't no dummy by a long shot.
True.
He already got a one toxic situation, and the reason why he got out of that because nobody even wants that job now. So him leaving don't even look bad.
Facts.
Because of what who he had to deal with. So, but speaking on that, let's move on to our first topic, and it's a hot topic because it just won't go away. This guy right here, Eric Bieniemy, they won the Super Bowl yesterday. What I did was throughout all the Super Bowl post-game coverage, I was listening to who different people would say, draw this up or scheme this up, just to see how many people would say Bieniemy. I only heard one. I only had one person say Bieniemy, Eric did X, Y, Z or whatever. Everything else was Andy Reid. And even from the players, Kelsey, the one really to put me over the top, Kelsey said, they asked him, how does he stay open, get open so much? And his first Andy Reid. No mention of EB anywhere.
I think Mahomes has said
that was the one person.
Yeah,
that was the one person.
Oh, and Andy Reid, of course.
He gonna deflect, right? He gonna deflect. But the thing is, I'll just say that I'm on Hendo's side now. They was like, why? I think Hendo was like, when I asked why would he leave, he was like to get from under Andy Reid's shadow and go do his own thing. I'm on that boat with y'all, man. I'm on that boat. Jose, what you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, look, that's what I want for our head coach. So I'm all for him coming here. And yes, look, this is the place. Granted, Lamar stays. This is the place for him to come and coach another star quarterback, and he gets this offense going. There is no other coach on staff that's going to steal his shine. All right. So if the offense is if it continues to work, he's going to get the credit, and at that point, he can't be denied. You would think, right? So and if he is, that's a win for us. We keep to have a high power offense, and maybe he gets to slide into that head coaching position down the road. But yes, Eric Bieniemy or bust. That's who. Look, Brian Johnson is still out there too. That's I think those are the top two guys that I think are possibilities, high possibilities for us. So either one of those, I'd be happy with.
B.
I think it does have to be Eric Bieniemy. I don't think Brian Johnson's going to go anywhere at this point. Not to be an offensive coordinator, because he's not going to find a better situation than the one he's in right now.
That's a good point.
He's going to take that promotion and keep it rolling there. But for Baltimore, I mean, it has to be Eric Bieniemy. He's done a phenomenal job as the offensive coordinator in Kansas City, even though people don't want to give him credit for it. And to Rave, I saw the comment about Baker. Nobody said Baker would be third string.
Right.
Y'all don't have a starting quarterback right now. So, but no, I think it does have to be Eric Bieniemy. And I mean, they have to provide serious assurances that Lamar is going to be the quarterback. Otherwise, if I'm him, I'll go right to Washington, where they've got weapons all over the offense already, and try to work around the quarterback. Because in Baltimore right now, you don't have the quarterback or the weapons.
Hendo?
Yeah, he has. Like I said, he has to get out of there. I believe he has to foster those new relationships and show people his personality, show people what he needs to do. Most people like to run with narratives that are put in front of them because it's the easiest thing to do and not do their research. For me, yesterday in the Super Bowl, one thing that led me to believe that Eric Bieniemy was actually calling the plays, they ran 49% of the time. And in what year have you seen Andy Reid run the ball 49% of the time in any game?
Never.
He's never done that. So, I think Eric was like, listen, this is how we take advantage of the situation. And that's why I believe he called the plays. Now, whether they want to believe it or not, he needs to leave that organization and kind of cast his own shadow. As far as Baltimore is concerned, I wouldn't say EB or bust because he may not want to come here. You don't have your quarterback situation in hand. Why would I want to come there to a worse situation with no skill players? Now, yes, we got JK. Yes, we got Mark Andrews, but we don't have the quarterback. The offensive line right now is kind of in shambles a little bit. And Brian Johnson, he's going to stay where he is. Why would I want to go somewhere that's uncertain and I can stay with the team that just went to the Super Bowl and take over play calling duties?
Which is the same thing I was saying for EB. That's the same. That's basically the same question.
But the thing with them is Johnson's not trying to get out of under anyone's shadow.
Okay.
EB is, because we wouldn't be having this conversation.
And they're at different levels too. So if Johnson go to an OC, that's a bump up for him.
It is, but it really, it doesn't matter for certain people. If you have the relationships or the nepotism that's going on around the league, it doesn't matter what level you are, because they're going to make and kind of forge your own narrative for you. If you run in the right circles, you could be a quality control coach. Oh, he's just such a leader. He's just such this. And they'll push you forward into the situations they want. But Eric Bieniemy needs to go stand alone on his own. Take an offense on his own, make his own identity, and then I think he should go forward. Is it in Baltimore? Until we re-sign his quarterback, nobody knows.
Gotcha. Chris?
Yeah, I agree with what Hendo said. It's like, you got the man won 2 Super Bowls and not getting any head coaching looks.
Right.
After all of these years. And it's like, you got to get out on your own. It seems like that's the only way he's going to get a head coaching job, is if he goes to another team and he can, do some spectacular things with another offense. So it's not just Andy Reid, like that narrative that we see all over the place. So, it's unfortunate that it has to be like that, because we see Jim Nagy get a job right away.
Sure did.
We didn't see those questions being asked. We didn't see Jim Nagy have to be interviewed 1,000 times. But we see that with EB. So, 2 Super Bowls and you can't get a head coaching job?
Right.
Something's up.
Chris, I would even say you can't even get in that last round of interviews in some places.
Well, he's been to 3 Super Bowls. He's been to 3.
Look at the Eagles. The Eagles had OC. He's been to 1.
Yep.
He's been to 1. And he's going to be the coach for the head coach for the Eagles. I mean, for
Indianapolis.
The defensive coordinator also.
Right, Arizona.
For Arizona.
And they've been to 1. This man has won 2. Make it make sense.
Including 1 over that offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator.
That's a good job. Shout out to B for 10. He says, I'm gonna let y'all finish, but if you don't want to sleep on the couch, Amazon Prime got a deal through Whole Food Roses. 24 roses, $24.99. Hashtag violence. I'm trying to warn him, brother.
That's what's up.
Hey, B always looking out. And OTR Mike dropped 5. He said,
Mike.
fellas,
What's
be
up,
back in
Mike?
the saddle next week. Until then, let me remind everyone that the best nation is donation.
Donation.
Hit
Facts.
that like button. Appreciate
Facts.
you, Mike. Take care of the little ones.
Yes, sir.
Mhm. Indeed.
Start on this old next topic, which is the obvious. Yesterday was the Super Bowl. And obviously the Chiefs beat the Eagles,
Mhm.
which didn't think it was going to be like that, especially after watching the first half of, not the first half, maybe the first 15 minutes or so. But let's kind of talk about this. We'll just talk about the start first and what you see and how you think it was going to go. And we'll start with you, Jose. Just start of the game first.
Well, after both teams went, I think they both scored on the first drive. I expected a shootout, and then it slowed down a little bit, and Philly had the upper hand. I honestly thought by halftime they were going to run away with it. They're up 10, and it was it could have been 17 if Jalen Hurts didn't fumble that ball, but they were in control. It looked like they're pulling away, and then Mahomes gets hurt again, and I mean, he is in pain on the sideline. He's crying on the shoulder of a coach on the bench, and I'm like, okay, I know they're going to shoot him up with something, but I mean that looks bad, right? Like he's going to be hobbling around. I don't know what they gave him at halftime. I mean, it wasn't legal. I can tell you that. But yeah, that was my initial thoughts at first. Just that I expected a shootout. It turned into that the second half. But going into halftime, I thought the Eagles were going to pull it out.
Hendo?
Whew. Yeah, listen. I know a lot of people had the Eagles to win this game because they are the best all-around team in the NFL. Or so we thought. But yeah, they both scored on their first possession. I thought that especially for the first half, that the Eagles did very well because they controlled the clock. Like the reason that Pat Mahomes didn't have the stats that we would normally expect from him is because they controlled the clock. I think it was one point in the game they had a 17-minute drive.
But
what the? Well, that may have been the second half.
But I think that time possession was like 17 to like 4 or 5 or something like that. They might have 17 plays. No, it was not even 17 plays.
One of the drives was long.
They had a long drive. They had a real long drive.
They controlled the first half, which you should do against high-powered offenses. You control the clock, you make timely plays, and I think that they did that. And like Jose said, they went into halftime with a 10-point lead. Fumble aside, I know a lot of people saying that Hurts shouldn't have fumbled, and if he had, it may have been a different game. But I think he made up for it later on in the game, and they still had a 10-point lead going into halftime. Once they went up by 10, I'm like, oh, they're in trouble now. Can't see about to turn it on.
Oh, it's B.
Yeah, I thought the Eagles came out really, really strong, and I kind of expected them to start fast. And like everybody's saying, the injury to Pat Mahomes is where I was really a little bit concerned. I had picked Kansas City to win, but once he got hurt and the pain that was on his face when he was hobbling off the field, he says that they didn't give him any painkiller type medication or anything at halftime. And when he said that, like all I could think of was like, when you have you take a kid to the hospital to get a shot and you kind of try to distract them so they don't feel it. I'm just thinking like he's sitting there on the table and Andy Reid standing there next to him and now close your eyes and just take 3 deep breaths and all this, and they just give him the shot and he's like, wow, breathing did all that? I don't feel nothing. But I think that it was like Hendo had mentioned earlier, them starting off establishing Pacheco early helped out. Obviously getting that turnover for the touchdown was huge. But I think that the Chiefs were just kind of, that's a situation that they're used to being in. Even in their first Super Bowl, they were getting beat late in the game. In their first Super Bowl run, they were down 10 plus in every game. So it wasn't a situation where they were, ever going to panic. And, they kept it even keeled all the way through. And the Eagles kind of, I don't want to say fell apart, but they gave it away.
Hendo, they had a 11-play drive, they had a 12-play drive, and they did have a 17-play drive.
Yeah, they took it to him.
The 17 play drive was for 7 minutes and 45 seconds. No, it couldn't have been.
Yes, it could.
Yeah,
Yes, it
17
was.
to 45 seconds. I'm thinking if you have 17 plays, it should be longer than that. I know if the Ravens had 17 plays, it'd be 3
The whole
days.
They still would have been playing.
That would have been the game.
Yeah.
Chris, what you think about the first half of the game?
Yeah, for the first half, it looked like it was going to be one of those. It was like, oh damn, it's looking like one of those blowouts. This was going to turn to, especially when Mahomes went down, because he looked like he was in pain. And I don't know what they did to him. They gave him the Michael Jordan stuff back in the locker room, but he came back and he was just he was on it, and he was locked in. He was on point. But that fumble, that Jalen Hurts fumble, that kind of was the turning point. It kind of gave the Chiefs the kick that they needed, at a critical time. Because if the Eagles go down and score at that time, that's kind of like foot on throat moment right there.
That would have been what 21-7 maybe.
Yeah, so that's huge. That's a huge turn right there, and that's where it looked like it was heading. But yeah, I just wanted a good game. I didn't want a blowout, so I was kind of happy.
Yeah,
and that's what I wanted, because I was people were asking me who I'm going for, and I was like, I kind of want the Eagles to win, but if I had to bet, I wouldn't bet against Mahomes. And so pretty much the crowd around me was going for the Eagles, so I just was kind of just watching them be disappointed. Really,
right. Yeah.
I had no real dog in the hunt, but it's tough to bet against Mahomes no matter who if Mahomes got Kelsey, I'm probably not going to bet against him if he got Kelsey and Reed. Reed. What I want to talk about a minute before we go to the second half is what do the Ravens need to do to beat that offense?
Find a head coach.
They need that coach and some players
and a real GM. And a real head coach.
It's real simple, right?
Yeah.
And an owner.
I mean, look. I mean, we said it last night, right? Like, I want Bieniemy so we can run plays where whoever catches the ball it has nobody within 10 yards of them, because every play it seemed like they were running free. It wasn't just Kelsey; it was everybody. Kadarius Toney walked into the end zone. Sky Moore walked into the end zone.
Let me talk about that for a minute. I was like, well, I hear a lot of people saying scheme for those two plays.
Yeah,
that was simple. If you go back and watch each play before that. They put a guy in motion. They put a guy in motion. They say, "Oh, you're gonna roll down," and so that's when one safety go back, the other roll down to pick it up because they want to stop the jet sweep. So when he saw that, he basically used their rules against him. I guarantee you that wasn't in their playbook, but they just saw what was happening and they made it during adjustments. Something we ain't never seen before.
Hey, I want to give a shout out to your boy Vash. I watched the stream when he was talking about Kellen Moore, right? And he said, "Look, I like Kellen Moore. He's cool. He can call play, but he can't coordinate."
Right. I remember that. I was watching that one too.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing, right? Like being a coordinator isn't just about calling plays. Like you gotta strategize, right? And just like that point that you just made, they saw something there. They said, "Okay, we're gonna expose that," and they exposed it twice. Back-to-back drives.
Same play. Opposite sides.
Yeah. So yeah, go ahead and bring Bieniemy over here so we can do something like that.
It's crazy. I'd love to see it. I just want to see adjustments, period. DDSQ dropped 10 and says, "What's good, y'all? Bieniemy deserves a shot. I also don't want to hear any more running QB slander. Mahomes, Hurts, Lamar are the archetype, not Josh Allen." And Josh Allen could be. Josh Allen he think he's so well that he makes simple mistakes. Like he'll try to run over linebackers and carry the ball like a loaf of bread. Or he'll figure out my arm is so strong I can fit it between all three of these safeties. Josh Allen could be in that group, but he just mentally stupid.
Yeah, he got a little Brett Favre in him.
Yes.
He's in that group. He's a running quarterback. I think he's more of a running quarterback than any of the rest of them. The others are quarterbacks who can run. Josh got a wide receiver or two, and it makes him look a lot better. I mean, and granted, that's the case for every quarterback, right? You have to have talent around him. But Josh still be launching them Jay Schrader passes sometimes. But he's a running quarterback also.
Yeah, and that's a major credit to Dayball, because look at what Dayball came and did with Daniel Jones.
Right.
And so a lot of it is coaching. It's a lot of those guys like Josh Allen. He came up as the man. High school he's the man. In college he's the man. So when you're in the pros, sometimes you feel all of that pressure, and you don't have a run game, you don't have an offensive line, so you feel like you got to make the spectacular every single play. And what we saw yesterday with Pat Mahomes, he was like, all right, I'm gonna just dink and dunk you to death if I have to. And that's what we saw with the greats. We saw that with Brady, we saw that with Manning, we saw that with Drew Brees. Later on as they progressed in their careers, we saw them kill defenses, to a million pieces. If all right, you're going to take away the deep stuff, we'll just kill you underneath. That's it. And we'll be patient. But with Josh Allen, and we saw with Mahomes a couple years ago where he was impatient with the too deep looks. He was getting impatient, and it was frustrating him. And now he's matured, and he's like, I'm gonna just play the old man game.
Yep. Never go broke taking a nickel. Never. Yep. And he'll take them all day. Marco G dropped 5. He said KC got a middle of the pack defense, but they play situational D. Their secondary don't put fear in the hearts of offenses, but as a unit, they come through in fourth. Just if you don't know, KC won the Super Bowl with 2 rookie corners. 2 out of their 3 corners were rookies. They got Snead back, and Snead played too. But actually, they got to the Super Bowl with 2 rookie corners because Snead got hurt in the first drive of the AFC Championship game. Second drive.
Wait a minute, Coach. You telling me this team didn't need a $43 million secondary?
They did not.
Eat gas.
If I'm not mistaken, their best secondary player, aside from Snead, is Reed, that played at Houston for so long.
Yes, and he's not all that.
Right, but I will say,
hell of a kicker,
ain't it? them two guys they got in the middle, they be balling.
They do.
Whoa,
Bolton and Gay, them boys get after.
Nick Bolton,
they get after, and he should have been the Super Bowl MVP.
Nick Bolton,
I think that was a fumble.
It was
We
definitely.
talked about that.
It was.
Yeah. It was definitely a fumble.
But coming out of the second half, Mahomes. Wait, what about this? What about Jalen Hurts trusting AJ Brown so much to just throw the ball up? Because he definitely was covered until the ball got there.
It's easy
And
when you have talent.
that's
like
having
that.
playmakers.
That's, I mean, when you
Must be
have
nice.
a talented, when you have a talented wide receiver, it's nothing to think about. Like he goes down the field, you just throw it up there. He's going to make a play.
Right.
That's how James Prochet felt when he threw it to Kenyon Drake.
Make a play, Drake.
He's like, I can trust him. Let me throw it up there.
But Coach, that's what happens when you have top talent at the wide receiver position, and you have a tight end that makes plays in the playoffs. Shots fired, bang bang.
Okay, I had forgot about that too.
Did you say I was on crack?
No, I thought I forgot about it. It would have been we would have had a slide if I would have remembered, but I forgot.
Well, Bradley did the numbers.
It's not looking good for your boy, Mark.
It ain't looking good for Mark. Let me see what you're talking about. Well, first of all, we'll go ahead and tell the people what we're doing. Hendo said that wasn't it Goddard?
Dallas
Goddard is a better tight end than Mark Andrews. Am I
in the
correct?
playoffs. In the playoffs.
Oh, I ain't hit it in the playoffs. I ain't hit it in the playoffs. I heard.
Yes.
I know you said what I saw was important catches or something. I didn't see the playoffs, but go ahead.
I said catches in meaningful games.
Meaningful games.
Yeah. Now his per game stats, Mark Andrews' per game stats are a little bit better than Goddard's in the playoffs. But your boy Mark Andrews, all pro Mark, tight end 1. We don't need any wide receivers because we got Mark. He can't throw outside the numbers anyway. He averages 4 catches for 40 yards in his playoff games with 0 touchdowns. Dallas Goedert is just a little bit below that, but he does have 2 playoff touchdowns to his name. So what I had told Hendo, because I saw, you telling me he was on crack too. So I Hendo, and I said that, you're both kind of right, because neither one of them are great. But the answer to the question is go get somebody else because neither one of them are anywhere near good enough.
Thanks.
Hey, and when
at least
I was
Goddard has the
expecting some big
excuse
numbers
of other receivers being on the team. Like Mark Andrews is the only one out there and can't put any production up. But
I was at least expecting you to say 6 for like 62 or 5 for 50. Man said 4 for 40, what, 42, 44?
four for about 40. And I mean, these are games where they weren't even really close. So, like, what are you doing?
As far as Mark Andrews, that's the playoff loss to the Bills, the playoff win versus the Titans, and then the playoff loss to
the Titans.
Yeah,
2019 Titans.
The 19
the San Diego Chargers.
I forgot about that one. The Chargers was first. So then next year was 2000.
Chargers, Titans, and then it was Titans, Bills, and then this year Cincinnati.
So five
games.
Oh.
5 games. He has.
So he got about 20 catches,
212 yards, 0 touchdowns. On by the way, 41 targets. So he's catching under 50% of his targets in the playoffs.
Jeez.
Not good.
Not good at all.
Some good ass crack.
He dropped a touchdown pass against the Bills, by the way, in the playoffs. That's why I point that out.
Good old crack I'm smoking.
You got lucky. You got lucky on that one. But second half,
always coming at me.
Well, that's what I do.
I don't know.
That's what I do. That's what I do. The second half, Mahomes came out and basically turned up like we all knew he would. Refused to let his team die. They got one stop. One stop changed the whole momentum, and then they couldn't stop Kansas City. So and it's the adage that it's about Jimmy's and Joe's was no more heir apparent than yesterday because Mahomes balled out. Even though he lost, Jalen Hurts probably was the best player on the field yesterday. And just talk about the second half from both of those guys and, and what you expected and what you saw starting in that second half, Chris.
I think, like, one of the main things that was weird to me from the Eagles was them not using Miles Sanders more.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was one of the strange things. Like, I'm not even, like, a big Miles Sanders fan, but it was like it just didn't make sense. Like, you use this dude so much during the season. Like, I don't know if he was hurt, but let's just say he's healthy for argument's sake. And it's like you pretty much taking him off the field, for the most part, and using Kenny Gainwell, who's a nice, change of pace back. But if Miles Sanders is your workhorse throughout the year, why are you cutting him like in the biggest game of the season?
Him and Gainwell both had 7 carries.
Yeah, it didn't make sense. And it's like, you went through the season running the ball, and Jalen Hurts did his thing running the ball. But it's like if you incorporate your running backs too, take some of that pressure off your quarterback, it just feels like they kind of went away from their identity a little bit and kind of got lost in the sauce and wanted to, like when fighters, they're technical guys and then they fight a brawler and then they get pulled into those brawler matches and it's like, yo, that's not your game.
Right.
It's kind of like that. Like they're a running team, all season. And, then they air it out, they loosen you up, air it out. And it just felt like they went away from that. And it was strange. They kept it close, but it was just strange to me that kind of, that kind of reasoning after watching what they did for most of the season.
Jose?
Yeah, I mean, look, what they were doing seemed like it was working for the most part, right? That's probably why they had some success just throwing the ball and just the whole strategy. It was pretty close throughout, but yeah, I mean, look, yes, they could have ran the ball more. Like that is what they do. But you get into a rhythm, especially you have a lead. You don't really want to change things up. And look, man, like that's a tough thing, right? Like when the other team is trying to make a run and you're just trying to maintain. But for the most part in the second half, man, I just felt like both teams executed really well.
Mm-hmm.
Like the critique that Chris has about the Eagles, it's a tiny critique. For the most part, I thought they played a pretty clean game. It's just the Chiefs. They came out in the second half with a greater sense of urgency, and they decided, look, we're going to score on every play, right? We're not going to walk off the field without any points. We're not going to leave anything, on the field like we did in the first half. And that's just what great offenses can do, right? It doesn't matter what that defense. I mean, look, we know Philly has a really good defense. They have a top defense. But when you're playing a great offense, man, and that team wants to score, they're going to score. You got to try to slow them down. You got to try to make a play here and there. And Philly almost did. When I thought when Gardner Johnson came down and laid the hammer on Isaiah Pacheco, I was like, they set the momentum right there. I thought that was going to be it, but Pacheco came back like 2 plays later and got first down.
he laid wood on Pacheco, boy.
He did. But no, I don't have much too big of a critique for either team, really. I mean, it was just a competitive game. And even that fumble, a lot of people brought up that fumble from Jalen Hurts as the reason why they lost, but they went into the half with the 10-point lead. So I don't I kind of factor that out. And
you spoke on their second half. The Chiefs' second half possessions, 1 possession in the third quarter, touchdown. 3 possessions in the fourth quarter, touchdown, field goal. Like you said, scored on every drive. B?
Yeah, I think what it came down to in the second half is it's an offensive league. It's a quarterback league. Pat Mahomes is the best, at that position. He played, almost flawlessly in this game. And I saw the stat too. They scored on every possession. They had 230 yards available to them, and they gained 229. And that was because Jerick McKinnon, kneeled down at the 1 and didn't score intentionally. And then they took a few knees, so it ended up being like 221 out of the 230. I just, it's a message for Baltimore. It feels to me, being on our show, doing a Ravens Roundtable, doing the Lunch Break Hot Take show on Wednesday, it feels like the Kansas City Chiefs were sent specifically to the NFL as a cautionary tale for the Baltimore Ravens. It's like, your defense will not save you. And it does not matter how many middle linebackers you sign. It doesn't matter how many free safeties you sign. It doesn't matter how many edge rushers you draft. Pat Mahomes is going to kill you. And if he doesn't, Josh Allen will. And if he doesn't, Joe Burrow will. Your defense ain't going to save you.
And that should be evident because the Eagles were doing what we try to do: control the clock, run the ball, and it was working, and they still lost.
But back to Chris's point about how they got away from the run, that this is something that B speaks about on our show all the time. When it comes to crunch time, you know what I'm saying, and butts get tight, nobody trusts running. Right? Nobody trusted. They want to make up those yards or through the air. They don't. They get away from the game plan. Even the best coaches do it.
As I was saying, the best run stopper in the history of the NFL is every offensive coordinator. Because they just gonna abandon it.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is there left to say? Patrick Mahomes, second half, 13-14, and his one incompletion was a throwaway. Listen, once they went up by 10 points at half, and I saw Patrick Mahomes screaming on the sideline like somebody stole his bike or something, all I can think of was a Dave Chappelle when he's like, "Gotcha!" I just felt like he just was like, "Let me sell this real quick, let them kind of lower their guard and come back after halftime and kill him." And to B's point about the cautionary tale, listen, the Philadelphia Eagles took the Baltimore Ravens blueprint. They went and got them a mobile quarterback that was kind of a project, except for they took it a step further. They went out and surrounded him with weapons. They gave him a top-notch offensive line, not some guys that we say, oh, they're pretty decent. They're better than we expected.
For the most part, them cats was that, though, except for, I think, for the most part.
Yes, for the most part. But I'm just saying they just constructed a team. So every year, Howie Roseman goes out and says, you know what? What's a deficiency? Let me get better at that. I just think that they took our plan and did a better job with it. Now, in the second half of that game, well, maybe throughout the whole game, they went and took our blueprint a little too far. I think they went and did the Ravens thing of, you know what? We were the number 1 rushing team in the NFL this year. Let's get away from it. Let's outsmart everybody and do the opposite of what we're used to doing. I think they had Greg Roman coach the second half, but they played well enough to win. So
They did.
I mean, you can't hold your head down even though you lost, and maybe it wasn't as dominant of a performance as you thought it was, but they played very well. But you just went up against a team that could match you, and it just unfortunately it took one stop, because the first half Kansas City's defense couldn't stop Philadelphia at all. They got that one stop, and Kadarius Toney took that punt return down to the 5-yard line. It was game over.
Yep.
So it took one stop for you to lose the Super Bowl. So I mean, man, what can you say?
I'm trying to see their second half possessions. They had a field goal to open the second half, a punt, a touchdown, and the end of the game.
Yep. Yep.
So that third quarter was when they had that long 17. Oh, yeah, it is. Third quarter is when they had a 17-play drive. Yeah, I think Tony's punt return kind of sealed it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because they didn't have to work to get that easy touchdown. But for the most part, I thought it was a clean play game. If correct me if I'm wrong, the only turnover was the Jalen Hurts turnover, right?
It was.
Yes.
And then Eagles had 70+ sacks on the season, didn't get any.
Not one.
Didn't get any. And I saw a couple times Hassan Reddick got Hulk smashed by who was that guard? Wiley.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's having to have a good offensive
turned
play.
up, boy. He turned up.
Orlando Brown wanted you to know that as well. He let
Yes.
everybody know that on his Twitter.
Put it on the shirt.
It's weird too because I don't see Ashanti asking me if I'm upset about letting Hassan Reddick go anymore. I was looking. But
I don't see Ashanti.
the comment.
Defense wins championships. Yeah.
When certain people are wrong, they don't show up.
Yeah.
How
that works.
Let's talk about this. And y'all probably don't want to talk about this, but I do. That's my baby right there.
I don't want to talk about.
No. They ain't my baby. They ain't my baby in the belly.
Okay.
I'm about to say congratulations.
I meant the woman. I'm sorry, not the woman in the belly. But I we all kind of enjoy music, and I like Rihanna. I'm a Rihanna fan. How did you guys think the show went, the halftime show?
Look, I liked it. I'm an old head, so I don't need a whole lot of dancing and special effects or anything like that. I like her music. I didn't like seeing that belly bump. I was confused for a minute. I was like, wait a minute, did she not have the baby yet? Like, what's going on?
Is that still the old one?
I was trying to do the math. Like, no, I can't. No, it's too soon. She can't be having another one. But it was a fine performance. It was a fine performance.
Chris,
I'm not even gonna lie. I didn't watch a second of it. I went outside. I was chilling outside. I needed to get some air. So I didn't even watch a second of it. And they were like, Rihanna's pregnant. I was like, it ain't mine, so I don't care. I already got my hand full.
That would have been one of them days, that same Dave Chappelle moment when he got Oprah.
He was there.
Easy say thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. We doing September. Salute, Easy. Was that B?
Oh yeah, I didn't watch it either. I don't watch Super Bowl halftime shows.
I watch them when they're relevant to me. But I love it. I love it.
I'll try to catch little pieces every if I'm real excited about a a artist.
But I can see the link on YouTube if you really want to watch it.
Nah, that's good. It wasn't all that.
It's cool.
Well, I thought it was pretty good.
It was okay.
Last year was dope when they had everybody come on. I watched that one last year when everybody
Dre and
was
Snoop and them.
Yeah, that was dope.
Yeah, it was. She did her solo, no features.
Yeah,
all solo. Only extra person she had up there was the baby.
She featured the baby.
So that must have been the guest she was talking about before she came up there. She did like an interview somewhere talking about bringing a special guest.
Her baby, that was the guest. Not the baby.
Right.
Like the last one that I was really excited about and really enjoyed was probably like Prince.
I knew that was
that. That might have been one of the best ones.
Yeah,
I like the Bruno Mars one
with Beyonce.
Yeah,
it's fine. Yeah.
Let's switch topics one more time. One more again. Is Pat Mahomes headed toward GOAT status?
Yep.
Yes.
Start us off, Jose.
Yes. Look, I called this early on. I think when his career is done, he's going to be the greatest quarterback of all time. He's already surpassing a lot of great ones. Namely, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, you can take a step back, my friend. You know, whatever room of darkness that you're sitting in, just contemplate the fact that Pat Mahomes has surpassed you, my friend. No, man, like he's after he threw it for those 50 touchdowns that 1 year, I was like, man, like his floor is 40 touchdowns every year. If he throws less than 40 touchdowns in a year, that's a bad year. All right, I mean. And he just won a Super Bowl on one leg, man. Like this is when are they not going to compete for a Super Bowl? I don't know. You know, as long as he's out there on the field, I can't even say as long as he's healthy because he wasn't healthy. As long as he's out there on the field, I just don't see them not competing. I'm not saying they're going to win every year, but they're going to be competing every single year.
B.
Yeah, I mean, I think right now you could rank him realistically second. And that's just because, you know, I think he's probably a more talented. Peyton? Yeah, Peyton was a playoff choker, hardcore playoff choker. But I think he's probably the most talented quarterback. You know, and mixing it with the success. Tom Brady is obviously the most accomplished quarterback. So you got a long ways to go running him down in terms of the accomplishments. But like I said, right now you can realistically put him at number 2 already. 5 years in.
He's 27. I think Brady had 3 Super Bowls at 27.
No
MVPs, and definitely not the numbers that Mahomes has put up.
Yeah.
And those defenses did a lot of work in those early years when defenses still won championships.
Oh, for
and
the
Corey Dillon.
Yeah. When defenses won championships, meaning your coach cheating.
That's true. That is another factor.
Chris, go ahead. What about?
All right. So the question is Pat Mahomes headed to GOAT status?
Thank you, Agent E.
That's the main thing right there. You look at Patrick Mahomes' start of his career. Who else is touching that first, half of a career? Nobody. Nobody's even coming close to that.
Just think, if he plays to the same, just say he plays the same age as Tom Brady. That's 18 more years.
Right, and nobody's saying he's the GOAT now. We're saying headed to. Look at his resume right now and compare it to any other quarterback at this point in their careers. It is not even close. Like for him, because he's not. This isn't like Tom Brady where just manage the game for us. Early on Tom Brady. I think people forget Tom Brady was not throwing the ball around all over the yard. It was don't lose us the game, make a play when we need you. And that's it. Then he became that Tom Brady, throwing crazy touchdowns to Randy Moss and all of that. Mahomes, since he started, he's been that dude.
Yep.
Like
only that year he didn't play.
He didn't start. Yeah.
So it's on his way. You can't say no.
Yeah. So once again, I've been seeing Agent E in the comments saying stuff about this topic this whole time. And in Baltimore, I don't know if you're from Baltimore, Agent E, we used to have a slogan. It's called "Reading is Fundamental," and it says, "Is Pat Mahomes headed to be GOAT status? Not is he the GOAT? Is he headed?" And you damn straight he's headed. I know that a lot of people think that the great Tom Brady is the greatest of all time. Now, some people would like to put his 7 Super Bowl championships as the measuring point for it. But I remember that there was a time when he had about maybe 3, maybe 4 Super Bowls, and they were still saying that Peyton Manning was ahead of him. So I need people to decide, is it the championships that are the measuring stick? Is it the accomplishments? Is it the yardages or whatever? Because by the time Pat Mahomes gets to year, I'll say 15, I guarantee you he's going to have at least 3 more Super Bowls under his belt. What other quarterback in the first 6 years of his career, and we're going to exclude year 1, has gone to 5 conference championship games, 3 Super Bowls, has 2 league MVPs, 2 Super Bowl MVPs? None of them.
No road playoff games either.
No, that's another thing. That man has never played in a road playoff game.
He's already met the criteria for a Hall of Fame, basically, right? Like if he retired today, he's a Hall of Famer.
He's a Hall of Famer. Yes.
And you took away one of the best wide receivers in the league.
Yep.
And he still won the Super Bowl.
So, they love to call people system quarterbacks and they need the weapons and the talent. They took Tyreek Hill out. He still led the league in touchdown passes and yardage with Juju Smith-Schuster and Marquez Valdez-Scantling as his top targets. Mecole Hardman, a guy who he's familiar with, has been hurt all season long.
Yep.
The dude Watson, they brought him off the street. Like, this man can play with anybody.
And he didn't even have the big guns in DeMarcus Robinson.
You mean Bread Man? B, did I hit you with some Mahomes yet? So I got everybody. All right. What I think about it is you can't. I don't think you can have football sense and not think that he's headed in that direction. Is he there yet? Like you guys said, no. But he definitely could make a push for a Hall of Fame career in year 5. Because did you see the list of what they've two MVPs and 2 Super Bowl MVPs? Did you see that list? It was 4 dudes on there. Mahomes was one. Montana was another. Who else was on there? Tom was on there, and Peyton. That's it. Just them 4 guys in the history of football. He could not play again and probably would be Hall of Fame, seriously.
Of course he would.
Absolutely. Because they're not going to not put Eli in, right? And he's getting in off the street for 2 rings.
Right. Exactly. Now we're going to switch gears for the next about 10 or 15 minutes or so. It's a new topic for us, and it's something that blew my freaking mind last week. Let me add it. The NBA trade deadline. and I love NBA. I feel like I'm a better hooper than I was anything else. I still got a little jumper. I can't do nothing else though. If we ain't playing shooting games, it's a wrap for me. I can't play the defense. I can't dribble too much more. We can shoot games. That's about all I got. But think about the NBA trade deadline last week and just straight mass chaos. But I just want to talk about two trades in particular, and then we'll close this thing down. And I think Jose is a Nets fan. Is that right?
Yes.
So we want to talk about the 2 guys leaving the Nets. First, we'll start with Kyrie, and we'll start with you. How you feel about that?
I'm fine with it. I wish we could have gotten more for KD, but I didn't want them to come back in the offseason, man. Like this is a team that gave them everything that they wanted. Right? They moved heaven and earth to bring them in. They moved a good young core. We had a good young team before they got here that was making the playoffs. And they shipped a bunch of people out. They fired Kenny Atkinson, a coach that I really liked. Brought in Steve Nash, who nobody believed could be a good coach, but that's who they wanted. And listen, you ask for that stuff. You're asking for the LeBron treatment. You have to go out there and you have to produce. And all they did was stay hurt, complain. And, and then you get swept last year in the first round of the playoffs. Like that's, I mean, that's not supposed to happen if you're KD. I don't want to hear anything about coaching or the players that you have around you, because they had a good squad around them. You have Kyrie there. You both are healthy. That's supposed to be enough, and you guys just folded. And then you're asking for a trade in the offseason. I wanted him to go then, right? So him leaving now, I'm cool with that. Definitely cool with Kyrie leaving. I mean, Kyrie, he plays like 12 games a year.
So
right?
So would you say that you have the same opinion of Kyrie as Stephen A?
No. No, I don't hate Kyrie. I think he's a talented player, and I'll still enjoy watching him. I'll watch them average games, and I don't have any ill will towards him as a person. But it's just it clearly wasn't working. He said it himself that basketball isn't the number one thing on his mind, and he showed it. And when he's on the court, he's amazing to watch, but he gets too distracted by too many things. And man, at this point, he just wasn't worth it. So ship him out, ship KD out, and let's start over again, man. Like, I'm disappointed because I wanted to see it work, obviously, and nobody wants to see that fail. But I didn't want them hanging around any longer. What we got in return, I'm a little underwhelmed by that. We got a lot of picks, but that's not going to do anything for us right now. we're going to be competitive. Mikal Bridges is a good player.
Mhm.
Cam Johnson, we had Cam Thomas, who just last week had 3
40-point games.
Yeah, 3 40-point games. And it's I mean, Spencer Dinwiddie. If you look at that team top to bottom, there's a lot of good players. Nobody great, but there's a lot of good players. So they're going to be competitive. It's just a matter of when are they going to be able to compete again? Where are they going to get that piece, whether it's through the draft or trade or whatnot?
Gotcha. And Chris, being the resident New Yorker, how does the city feel about losing Kyrie?
Well, I live and I'm from Brooklyn, and I'm happy, that it got blown up because, Brooklyn, the Nets, they don't feel like a Brooklyn team, like to most people from here. Like, it's a lot of shady stuff went down when Barclays Center got made. Like, they displaced a lot of people from where they were, a lot of businesses that were there for years. So a lot of people from here don't really mess with the Nets like that, And I'm one of those people. I don't really like the Nets. And I'm not even like a huge basketball fan or anything. Like, I grew up, like, I got Penny Hardaway right behind me right here.
That was my dude.
That's who I like. But I never liked the Nets, so anytime I can see them do bad, I take it.
Gotcha. Hey, and that's the beat from New York. So we'll switch gears and go to B and Hendo. How y'all feel about KD in Phoenix? Are they the what's funny?
No, I'm sorry.
Are they the favorites? They the favorites in the West now?
KD is heartless. He's a coward, and he teamed up with the biggest choker of all time in Chris Paul. They are not winning a goddamn thing.
That's how you really feel, B. That's why you was laughing, though. Y'all never talked about this.
No, we know how he felt about. We know how he felt about Chris Paul.
Don't try to make it like so. I have some agenda against Chris Paul.
No,
I told them when they were up 2-0 in the finals that they were losing that series
because of Chris Paul.
He's a choker. He cannot win. So will not be allowed.
Next week, B, when you come on, see how you got the hold on, let me take this off. You can do the little extra layer, put Broderick, aka Pat Bev. No. Not saying that's your caliber of play. I'm talking about your disdain for Chris Paul.
No, but I have a healthy disdain for Pat Beverly. I don't like that dude at all. I was thrilled that the Lakers got rid of him.
Oh, you know what? Hey, no, go ahead. Talk about KD real quick.
Oh, I mean, yeah, he is a great choker. So, just his whole career, it's certain guys that ring chase, and I ain't mad at you. You make your money, you get your stature in the NBA. You won a championship by sometimes by any means necessary. He went out and got his ring, but he couldn't stand it. Oh, this is Steph Curry's team, not yours. He's the leader, and he'd get mad and want to take his ball and go home. So they gave him his own team for him to lead. Then he comes around and says, well, I don't really want to be a leader. You know what I mean? I just want to be a follower. I just want to score points and not have to lead a team.
You should have stayed where you was.
He should have. But I think the most unfortunate thing about the trade with Brooklyn is I think Kyrie for the latter half of the season, he was quiet. He was actually doing his job. And throughout the year, when he and KD were healthy, Brooklyn was running the league. I think they were leading the league. And I just was like, okay, finally they get it together. They're gonna maybe make a run for it and show the potential that they have if everybody can stay healthy. But I guess ownership was like, you know what, let's blow it up. And my thing was, why now? You should have did this.
He requested a trade like 3 days for the deadline.
It don't matter. They should have done this last year. You knew that you were not going to go forward with both of them after this season. Now you didn't put your team with a bunch of picks.
KD asked for the trade before the season, correct?
And then he did, but then he rescinded it, and it's just a back and forth type thing. But to Brody's point, you have Chris Paul, who is considered one of the greatest floor leaders in NBA history, but he is also one of the greatest chokers in NBA history. Then you take Kevin Durant and his nonchalant, I don't want to lead attitude, and just the Phoenix organization. I think that they're just destined for a first round exit. They might get swept, but all that talent, they may get swept in the first round.
Devin Booker ain't immune from it either. He was choking his ass off on the way to their finals run the last time.
What?
Every single round, shooting percentage going down. Like, you could see him tightening up. That's starting to pucker.
Oh,
Man, I'm not hating that hard. You know,
I'm not hating. I'm not hating.
but
Go look it up.
But
Jose,
it's valid points. It's valid points, and I have been critical of KD, right? And again, I enjoy his game. You know, I'll continue to watch him, but like, no, he doesn't have any heart, man. And it's like, you know, they try to respect him, and Kyrie, and they thought that these are two guys that have championships. They played in the finals, and you know, they would be leaders, and they would, you know, step up and take ownership, and that's not what happened. And like, I'm disappointed, man. I'm disappointed. Like, these are two grown ass men. They're like, these ain't like 20-some-year-olds, man. Like, these are grown ass men. I just to see them complain about the team. And another thing, KD threw his players under the bus, to start the season. You know, basically saying that they ain't shit without him. That's basically what he said. You know what I'm saying? And like, from that point, I'd be like, all right, bro, all right, you can go, man. Like, you starting to call, you know, like, he's calling them by name, you know, and it's just
I'm
like,
out here with Royce O'Neal.
right. And it's just like, bro, you just got swept.
Yep.
You just got swept in the
Not
first
even
round.
just got swept. They quit halfway through that series talking about, man, it's Boston's year.
Right.
Yeah. Basically,
Y'all got it.
Basically, he lied though. Yeah, because any team with great players, like, it's not going to be all stars from top to bottom. So why are you calling out role players? Royce O'Neal is a good, solid player, right? He doesn't have to be a superstar. He wasn't brought up to be a superstar.
Royce O'Neal's previous team was the 1 seed, so yeah, I think he was lying.
All right, last one that we're gonna talk about for the NBA, which is everybody's favorite team.
That's right.
The Lakers. Two of my favorite Lakers, and I'm not a Laker fan, were let go. Well, not let go. Yeah, they were let go.
They were let go.
They sent Russell Westbrook to Utah. To Utah of all places. You know, he probably won't play a game there. Probably gonna get bought out. They sent this man to Utah.
Good.
That's right.
That's
well deserved, is what that is.
That's Siberia.
That's his punishment.
That's Siberia. But then with Pat Bev, and I'm a fan of Pat Bev because I just like the way he is. I just like Pat's silliness. I just like he's entertaining to me. Both of these guys are entertaining to me with their against the establishment train of thought, especially Russ. The whole team's out there doing whatever little silly dance. Russ just looking around like, wish I hurry up so I can go sit down. And the thing is, he's been doing it the whole season though. People only started talking about it when the trades or when they thought that he was going to leave or whatnot. But he's been doing it all season. And one of y'all like the Lakers?
Yeah, I'm like it's
B.
B, you start us off then. What you think about getting rid of these two guys and bringing the snitch back? I mean, bringing D'Angelo.
Love it. Love every bit of it. Okay, love every bit of it. You got D'Angelo, you got Mo Bamba, you got Hachimura, you got Jared Vanderbilt, and what's his name, Malik Beasley, I believe it was.
Y'all got Tekashi too.
Listen.
Over there, sir.
Listen. If you ain't sharing a hotel room with him, who cares? I care about what he does on the court. And what he does on the court is play a hell of a lot better than Pat Bev and Russ Westbrook.
That's combined?
Yes.
Sometimes.
Absolutely. The only issue is that they didn't move out Anthony Davis too. Because my man out here. My man been on vacation since they won that ring, and now he's starting to be all jealous and petty. We ain't got no time. He got to go.
What did he do to be jealous and petty?
Oh, you didn't see him on the night?
I saw, but people may not have seen.
So yeah, when LeBron broke the record, had his Ricky Henderson "Now I'm the greatest" moment. Everybody on the bench was up and clapping and filming and everything, and Anthony Davis went and sat his ass down. And then when they asked him about it, because the whole rest of the game, the announcers were like, yo, man, Anthony Davis got to do something. Like, he's just kind of floating through the game. He needs to do something. And they went and they asked him about it after the game, like why he had that kind of body language and that kind of attitude about LeBron breaking the record. He's like, oh, it was nothing to do with LeBron. I didn't even realize that he was close to breaking the record because, I was so concerned with the game and we were losing and I wanted to win the game. That man had 13 goddamn points in that
But
game.
at that time, they was down 2 points.
They lost 133 to 130, and Anthony Davis, a man who they said was going to be Tim Duncan 2.0,
Facts.
had 13 points on 9 shots. He didn't give a damn about winning that game.
AD should be in the conversation with Embiid, Joker, and Giannis. He's that talented. That was his trajectory, and he's just a guy now.
Like Reggie Miller said, with Anthony Davis grimaces,
Yes,
3 weeks.
It's 3 weeks.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. And they're just tired of it, man. Like, people know when he hits the floor that they have to go beyond the half court line because he's just going to be rolling his ass all over the court. He was on the ground the last time he got hurt, rolling around for like 3 minutes, and they were like, "Oh, well, there's no break and there's no sprain, and he'll be back in 2 months."
Right.
Appreciate the 5 money making, Mitch. B, he says D'Angelo is not that good. I live in Minnesota. Trust me, you ain't get that much better.
That's right. That's right, Mitch.
I've watched a whole lot of D'Angelo Russell.
Me too.
He is much better than them.
You didn't,
I
you
feel like-
didn't go
I
back
feel
and
like
watch
he-
more
I feel
Westbrook
like-
this year.
I feel like he shoots better than them, but he can't give you what Russ can give you when he locked in. What if Russ gets that buyout and go to Clippers?
When the last time Russ been locked in?
What else give you when he locked in?
Now that is the $1 million question. You know,
What do you give you them? 7
deny your
turnovers?
Can't deny your
Seven turnovers and at least 1 shot off the side of the backboard.
Backboard.
No,
Facts.
no, I don't want none of that.
Hey,
You
that's
keep
tough
that.
to do though.
Coach,
That's tough to do, B.
Look,
That shot outside the back. Well,
Coach.
you gotta be really trying to do that.
it's like hit the upright.
Hey, Coach, all right, Coach, I was about to ask you. You just shot hundreds of thousands of shots in your life. How do you keep hitting the side of the backboard? How? I couldn't do it if I tried.
I can't defend him there. I can't.
I'm
But
just upset.
you play basketball professionally.
Exactly. Yes.
Professionally. That's your job to shoot.
Then your wife get mad when people call you Westbrook. I'm just upset that he left the Lakers. Like, that broke my heart.
But I want to see him go to the Clippers.
No.
No, I'm saying I just want to see him go to the Clippers and
No.
beat the Lakers.
No,
And
Coach.
see how that plays out.
Coach, I need him to be on the Lakers to make them worse.
Beat the who? Who the Clippers gonna beat?
Listen,
The Lakers.
With all them part-time players they got?
facts.
That's a part-time job. Seriously.
Listen,
Playing for the Clippers.
I had to wake up one day to a text message talking about we about to be the champions now. I want to hear this stuff.
Who?
I did from Brodney. I don't want to hear this
The
stuff.
Lakers?
Yes, I don't want to hear this stuff.
All right, B, you got the flow. What's gonna make y'all champions now? Tell me that.
The fact that Russell and Patrick are gone and they replace them with guys who want to play basketball.
You don't think Pat wanted to play basketball?
Pat wants to talk.
Who else
And
been
Pat wants a profession that puts him in the vicinity of cameras. That's it.
Hey.
He don't care about
So he got that little taste of ESPN now. He just biding his time.
yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
That's an interesting angle.
But LeBron's playing as one of the top players in the league still at age 38 and just hasn't had any support at all.
It is. And speaking of that, he broke the record. What was that? Tuesday night, scored 38 points. The record was 38,388. It was 38 years ago when it happened.
He was 38 weeks old when 38 weeks after Kareem broke the record, LeBron was born. Like, the number 38 is very prominent throughout this whole record.
So I challenge all 6 of us, including Mikey.
Okay.
We got to find the script writers. So once we find them, we're gonna lock them down.
Right.
And then we're gonna bet on all these games, and all of us gonna be set.
I know.
Okay.
We'll be set. We gonna be doing this show from the Maldives 2 weeks a year. And I think lastly, since we switched to talk a little NBA this time, this is the time for everybody on the panel to claim your team right now. If you don't know me, I'm an avid Heat fan. This my dude right here, Tyler Hero.
Can you take this off the screen? Because it's like I'm about to punch my laptop.
Nope. Can't do it. But that's my dude, Tyler Hero. So my team is the Heat. I got technically another little team I like, but I ain't gonna say because we're doing one team. Yeah, I like the Warriors too, but
why you gotta call them little team though?
because they ain't my number one.
That's his main. They ain't his main team.
Thanks, main squeeze. I got
right. They Rihanna. The Warriors my Rihanna.
Okay.
Hendo's on you.
You already called my team. My team, the Warriors.
Oh, you like okay? B, obviously the Lakers. Jose
Yes,
next. So we really just waiting on Chris.
Chris, he's not really like a big.
Chris said the 93 Magic.
96 Magic. Then
That's the one that beat Jordan.
Yeah. No. I like when the playoffs come around. I root for the Celtics. I like them. I like the Celtics. I like Tatum a lot. I like his game. I think he's smooth, man.
I like Tatum, man.
We booing Duke players now? Is that what we do?
We booing the Celtics.
Yes, we are. We are booing Duke boys.
We don't boo Duke players. We boo the Celtics.
Now I will say this
like
about the Celtics. If Robert is healthy, they're probably the reigning champions. He's the difference maker in my opinion for the Celtics. If he's healthy, because he's him and Smart the only two that play defense, they're probably the NBA champions because the Warriors had nothing for him. They were limited to, and I know they love to shoot, and I like seeing them shoot, but they had no inside game when Robert was healthy. They had to live and die by the three, like literally. And once he went out, they were able to get in the paint, which opened up more shots. But Robert, he's a beast, and he ain't got to score a point, but can affect the game in so many different ways.
I'll say this and apologies to Hendo. I think maybe if they're superstar next Kevin Durant scored more than 10 points in the first and last game, and then they could have been NBA champions. But that ain't in them. Though.
Which one? Tatum or Jalen?
Tatum.
But you know what the Warriors started doing in that championship? They went old school. They got on their left hand. They got to their left side. They're right and made Tatum and what's the other kid?
Brown
made them go left. They made them go left, and they made some shots, but it was not as easy as when both of them got to their right hand.
Right,
because there was a lot more instead of getting to the basket. It was a lot more dribble, pull up.
Hey, but that's what makes you great, right? Being able to adjust and take what they get.
He's like 12 years old too.
Him and Deuce the same age.
They're both young, right?
I'll tell you what, they much like Phoenix, much like Milwaukee, much like the Heat, they had their shot. They couldn't cash it in. It's over for them.
Wow.
So who's coming out the East then?
Who's coming out the East? Probably Milwaukee.
Or Philly.
I thought you just said Milwaukee when you said had that shot.
But they did cash it in. I didn't mean to put Milwaukee on that list. I was running through the teams that have made the finals who probably shouldn't have made the finals. But yeah, Milwaukee got it done. So they kind of took themselves to that next level.
And is Josh still good in the West?
No.
Is who still good?
Josh, he said he was like they had asked him who did he fear coming out of the West, and he was like, "Nah, I'm good in the West. All I'm worried about is the Celtics."
Okay. Oh, you said Josh. I thought you said Josh.
Oh no, Josh.
It did sound like Josh. Yeah, but Josh.
J.A. Morant.
He's exciting. He's exciting to watch.
He got to worry about the Lakers. He got to worry about the Mavericks. He's got to worry about the Suns.
The Feds.
He got Shannon Sharp.
With that. Right. Yeah. Uncle Shay. I love what Shannon did. He said, "I bet you won't.
I bet
Come
you
over
won't."
Here and say that." And he apologized. So that was he had to kind of. But Shay meant that.
But it's the truth though.
He meant every word about that. And then T tried to bring
his dad said. His dad said no. And that was the right response. That was the right response.
It was the 100% the correct response. And with that being said, we're gonna start to roll this thing up out of here. B, will you do me a favor?
Yes, sir.
And kind of take Mikey's role and let people know where they can find Mikey's stuff at.
Where can they find Mike? They can find Mike on the Open Mike podcast with OCR Mike. Yeah.
What is it? It's the what is it? It's the show
where the mic is
always open
for any conversation, no matter who it is, what it is, or where it is.
That's right.
And I don't remember the rest of the pitch, Mike. I am sorry.
That was pretty much it.
Hey, that's good. That's good right there.
Yeah.
That's good right there. Chris?
You can find me on Twitter at Chris Just Joking and the Deep Cover Pod. And yeah, that's about it.
Hendo.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at rgatekeepers. You can also find me in audio form wherever you find your audio podcast from. Also on YouTube, you can find me at Ravens Online on Gatekeeper. On Gatekeepers, we'll do videos, whatever. It's off season, so I can't promise you much.
What about those Patreon streams? Still doing those?
Nobody's requested them. So
I've requested one you still haven't done over there at patreon.com/rouge.
That's what fans called it yesterday.
Yeah.
/rouge.
He was like, yeah, you can get the rouge. Like
the what?
Yeah. I mean, it's a possibility with the Patreon streams. I don't know, but I do need to ask, who is Sebastian R? I had a Sebastian R sign up, and I've been messaging them, and they haven't responded, so I don't even know who they are.
I have a Sebastian been here sometime. I don't think his last name was R though, so that might be a new one on me. I can't help you with
Salute
that.
to you, Sebastian.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Indeed. But if you out there hear this, hit me up because I'm trying to get you in the Discord. I'm trying to get you all the other stuff. I just don't know who you are because you didn't respond to my email.
Gotcha. Jose?
All right, me and B, we are the Lunch Break Hot Take. We do a live stream every Wednesday night at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Also followed by the Overtime Show, which you can find on our Patreon, patreon.com/LBHT show. And you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at LBHT show. And for you boxing fans, right under B, at Ring Kings Pod, that is for Ring Kings Podcast. I got a lot of videos that I have in the chamber that I need to get out, but we're going to see a lot of new content shortly. But if you're a boxing fan, subscribe, check us out. We have a little bit of something for everybody, for the hardcore fans and the casuals. So yeah, subscribe.
This is a good month to get into the show too, because it's a lot of good fights coming up.
I also forgot to mention this. I probably should have put it up here. The big event I thought was big that happened Saturday. I don't know how many people watched it, but the UFC that was in Australia. Do you guys cover that on Ring Kings too?
We covered on Lunch Break Hot Take,
Right,
but we just didn't have the energy Saturday to do a live stream.
That's fine. I will I'll leave that topic till Wednesday then.
Yeah, typically, we like to do the live streams after the events, but that's like 2:00 in the morning,
right?
So and I was already hurting from Friday. So yeah, we'll talk about it a little bit on the show.
As far as me, you can find me on Twitter at Coach Evans 9, on Instagram and TikTok at Sip the Tally Films. You can also go over to the new channel, which is more Sip the Tally. We got a bunch of draft videos over there. Just dropped one on CJ Stroud. So far I've done the top 3 quarterbacks: CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, and Will Levis. And
Carolina.
I think it's head and shoulders above Bryce and CJ. And I think, for my opinion, CJ is a little bit better than Bryce. But you can see the films over there. I also got a couple of the top receivers on the main channel. We got Hyatt. We got, what's the big boy from TCU, Chris?
Quentin Johnson.
Quentin
Johnson, and we got Jordan Addison on there so far. So again, on the main channel, I'm working with receivers right now on the main channel, and on the more Sip the Tally, I'm working with every other position. I'm going to try to keep the positions on the main channel, the positions that I have interest to the Ravens, and then, like I said, on the other channel for the streets.
Well, so then, Coach, why you putting the quarterback ones on the other channel? Because with a lot of the fan base,
That's right.
Damn, Chris.
What are you trying to say?
Yeah, Ravens fans didn't know about.
I mean, it's a lot of the fan base that's tantalized by picks, and
Thanks.
And what's the black dude on NFL Network that does the draft stuff?
Bucky Brooks.
Bucky has us slated to pick AR-15 at 22. And if you don't know, that's Anthony Richardson from UF.
At 22, I don't think he was that far down.
That's where they have him. Jamil says, could you do some JSN film? JSN is actually the next wide receiver up on the channel, but I've been rotating. So I got to finish this cornerback from Oregon first. Then JSN will be the next guy. So that's he'll be up by the end of the week. At least by the end of the week. Try to get up by tomorrow's Valentine's Day. So let's go Thursday. Because I probably won't be working tomorrow. Not much at all. Hey guys, I appreciate it. Make sure we got everybody's super chats. We did all that. Got everybody's info. Make sure you tune in Wednesday to Lunch Break Hot Take at what time?
7:15 p.m. Eastern time.
And if you have not subscribed to all these fellas up here, including Mikey, their info is in the description. So, go when the stream is over, click that, and you can go straight to it. And also the pinned comment. No, it's not the pinned comment. It's one of the little features I have going through. I have a draft guide where you guys can click the link. You won't be able to edit it because I got it locked, but you can see where I am in my process of evaluating kids. The scores for each player I've done are there. And there's also a separate tab for each position so you can see my breakdown versus different games. And the way I got it set up is 80 is the max, and the number that you see at the end of the videos is the number out of 80. So that's where I'm at, trying to be as transparent as possible so you guys can share that and enjoy that. And if you like it, go subscribe over there, more to the top. And that'll be the end of this 2/13/23 version of the Ravens Roundtable. If you're still here,
Appreciate
at the end of it, I want to say thank you to everybody. And let me see what we're gonna hashtag, because I've been trying to hashtag the end of the video to see who stay here to the end.
Hashtag your team lied.
There it is. Hashtag your NBA team.
No, I'm talking about your football team.
No, we don't care. We know they Ravens.
Hashtag coach's baby.
There you go.
Right.
Hashtag Riri. There it is. Hashtag Riri to end this thing out.
Hashtag Junior Sip.
That's Trav Part 3. That's what that is.